Welcome, everybody. I thank you for joining me again. Today, I just wanted to talk about something that's very, very serious, and it's taking place all around the United States right now. It's very prominent. I'll say the word prominent. It's very prominent in the area that I reside in currently. So, I wanted to talk and just share some of my experience and some history about myself, and hopefully it'll help protect somebody that's out there that might listen or can share this story and may help somebody else. So I want to talk about the importance of when you're dating someone to really take the time to observe them in different situations and not just welcome them. I'm not going to say right away, but not just welcome them because somebody you know may have told you about them or may have co-signed for them. This is something that took place with me, and because I felt very fond of the person that co-signed for them, I allowed the person to not go through the certain process that I would normally have someone go through, because I felt like they must be good if, someone close to me introduce me and like co-sign how good of a person they are and so forth. But anyways, this is a little bit about my story. So a good friend of mine, or who I thought was a good friend of mine, introduced me to somebody that they knew from work. And they told me that the person, was always asking about me, seeing my pictures, and they talked about me, and that, the person was intelligent, educated, and had a good background. Let's say that. Hold on one second. And had a good background. So anyhow, I won't say a good background, but I'll say like the outline of the individual was up to par, right? Educated, has a good job, was funny, and a good friend co-signed for them, saying like, yeah, you need to meet them, they're good people. So anyhow, I met the individual. The individual was not quite my type, but attractive. Wasn't quite my type, but was attractive, and seemed like he had some type of intellect. Wasn't too polished, but he could hold a conversation. And so we talked, and one thing led to another. We ended up dating. However, the individual was very what is the word? Can't even think of the word. He was very engaging, and then aloof, and then engaging, and then aloof, and then engaging, and then aloof, right? And I remember one specific night, he put on this movie, and the name of the movie was Jeepers Creepers, right? And I'm not really into like horror or those kind of movies. Not to say it was super scary, but if you study the background behind that movie, you'll see that it's from a very dark space. Anyhow, he played that movie, and then afterwards we ended up, being with each other. And anyhow, again, the same game continued. It was engaging, aloof, engaging, aloof. So I started to get, at my wit's end on it. And I started realizing that, I started getting to my wit's end on it. And I started realizing as well that he was trying to keep me in like a state of confusion. So, pretty intellectual individual. So I just decided like that's not something that I wanted to engage in any longer. And a lot of stuff started taking place. Like he would come over and I'd be super, super exhausted. Like he would be very energy draining, right? Even if there was no type of intimacy, my energy would be super drained. So that's one thing that I took note of. Also, too, um, a lot of bad stuff started taking place. Like, there was a fire, a small fire that took place. Another thing that took place as well is someone came knocking on my door, banging on my door, asking to be able to charge their phone charger in my house. And I didn't recognize the person or anything like that, so I told them no, that they wouldn't be able to. And when I said that, they started banging on the door and calling me, you know, out of my name, calling me the B word, just really random and ridiculous. I didn't stay in a bad area or anything either, so it was very out of the norm. Okay, so that takes place, and all of a sudden, me and two of my son's cars, like, we got flat tires within a week. So it's like really weird, really weird, odd things. So those two things take place, and then what else happened? We went swimming. Me, him, and one of my sons. We went swimming, and my son ended up getting very, very sick afterwards, right? And I was just like, what the heck? Like, I wasn't putting it all together. So that ends up happening. And my son ends up having to go to the doctor, so forth. Then after that takes place, one of my other sons ends up getting into this horrible car accident, right? Very, very bad car accident. He could have passed away. The doctor was surprised that he lived. So that ends up taking place. And what else happened? One of my sons, like, we were having we were talking about, you know, like going and building like a home on land, and you know, just having a residency for everyone, our immediate family, to be able to occupy land and to build a big home on there and so forth. And then my son out of nowhere just basically like dropped the plan and so forth, which is fine. Everyone is entitled to do their own thing, but that's one thing that took place as well. So what else happened? So anyways, all of a sudden too, like, my funds started drying up. Like, they just started drying up. My funds started drying up, which was very odd too, because that's not something that I wasn't in a bad situation at that time, right? But the longer that I interacted with this individual, a lot of stuff started drying up. A lot of bad things started happening, and it was in a state of chaos, right? So I want to just bring to people that there are people that bring certain energies that affect your whole environment, not just you, but affect your whole environment, right? And I just want to let you women and men know, because there's men and women that carry these type of energies, or whatever you want to have your title be. Individuals carry different energies that can affect your whole atmosphere, right? Some of them can affect your whole atmosphere in a good way, right? And bring positivity and growth and benefits. And then there's others that do the exact opposite. So I just wanted to share this information with you guys and let you know that this is a form of energy harvesting, okay? These people come in and they take good energy, and they rob you of good energy, right? And they leave you with their chaotic. It's like a dumping of energy, like a exchange, and you don't even have to be intimate with the people for this to take place, right? So it's energy harvesting. It's a type of vampirism, satanic, negative type of being that can carry this type of energy. And I just wanted to share my story because hopefully it'll help somebody else. And remember, there's this scripture I want to share with you guys. You guys probably know it already, but I want everybody to leave with something positive. And this is what I have on one of my tables in my living room, and it's Psalms 139:14. And it says, fearfully and wonderfully made. Remember, you guys are very special. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. No one is allowed to, I'm not going to say they're not allowed to. We need to be aware so these people can't these people or things or whatever is inside of them. We need to be aware so that we can protect our homes, our children, our household, our finances, our energy, our souls. We need to be aware of these things. And the more of us that speak about it, are able to, the more people that speak about it, we're able to have more power and to be aware and to have more protection around us. So I just wanted to share that information with you. And I did want to also let you know that a lot of these people that are into this type of energy manipulation or thievery, I'll say thievery because this is a theft. This is a theft, right? So a lot of people that are into this, they're into some dark magic. They're into some dark cultism. This is just, what is it called? Like the top of the peak of the mountain, right? This is just like a very, very small piece of it. But if you dive deep into it, you'll see that there's a whole lot of darkness that comes with that, right? The root of it is very, very dark if that's the very little piece that you see, right? So the root of it is very, very dark. So this stuff is very, very serious. And I want to just, I just wanted to share my story with you. And hopefully you guys could share your stories too if you had similar things take place. In the area that I'm in, Central Texas area, there is a lot of sex trafficking and a lot of things like that. So what these people and things do, or entities do, a lot of them cause great chaos, financial situations, all this stuff so that you can fall into something a lot more wickeder, or they could introduce you to something a lot more wickeder than that, right? If you're not strong-minded, if you're not self-sufficient, if you're not able to get it out the mud or something, I'll just use that reference, right? That's something that I'm familiar with. So if you're not able to do stuff like that, a lot of people will fall victim and to go to those very sources that cause the chaos to ask for help, right? And a lot of them, that's what they're hoping to do. They want to take you off of your, stability, your square. They want to take you off of that square, and they want to be able to do whatever they want with you, right? They want to destabilize. That's the key. They want to destabilize people, places, and things in order to be able to reroute that energy, in order to be able to reroute those finances, in order to leave you like spun, right? It's like kind of like a, what are those little, I think they're called tops, those old school toys where you just spin them. And that's pretty much what they're doing, right? They spin them and then they kind of like reroute where it's going to go. And I just want to speak on it and share that information. And again, remember Psalms 139:14. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. Never forget that, and never allow someone to spin you or to, be aware when chaotic stuff starts happening. When did it start happening? And then remove whatever that is. Do not be afraid to walk away, okay? The key is to walk away, get out of that energy, rebuke it, stay away from it. Like, it's very, very important that you understand how vital and how important this message is for each one of our livelihoods, for our children, for our loved ones, for our sacred spaces and our sacred temples, right? Our sacred bodies, our sacred thoughts. All of this is so, so beautiful. And again, Psalms 139:14, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. I'll leave you with that. I love you guys. Have a blessed evening, and I'll speak with y'all soon.